Welcome on to this tutorial. For this tutorial, we'll go learn about joins and its application for MySQL. So we don't select columns from single table, but sometimes for the real world, when we work with real world data, we go need select columns from multiple tables. So basically, to join columns from more than one table, you go need give a criteria for joining. For example, if you want join column from two tables, you go need to give a criteria for joining. That is, you go join on a similar key. So make we see an example. If you look this schemas panel very well, you go see two new databases. And I don't talk them before, so we go use this one learn for later for this tutorial. So now where we go use them be this. So we have the farm DB and the farm products DB. In the farm DB, we have about 6 tables here. Yeah, 6 tables. And then in the farm products DB, we have just 3 tables. Make we see as we fit join 2 tables. So inside this database, we have the farm, the details of different farms, the estimated capacity, location, details about the ownership, details about the revenue, and the supervisor. While for the farm products DB, we have details about egg supply, meat supply. So for this example, we go join details from these 2 tables, the farm details table and the estimated capacity table. So make we expand this table. So here we have the farm ID, the name of the farm, the address of the farm, city, registration number, telephone, number of employees, delivery services, and power generated. For estimated capacity, make we expand this one too. So we have the farm ID, egg production, and the meat production. So make we write a query to join details from these 2 tables. Let's say we want to look at the name of certain farms, and we want to look side by side with their production and meat production. We want to look side by side with their capacity. So make we write a query for that. If we write our query here, and if we create a new tab, a new SQL tab to write queries, but I would like make just write them here with the same tab we don't use for this tutorial. The first thing we go do be say we go make sure saying that this database is active. To make this database the FarmDB database, because the tables stay under the FarmDB database. So to make the FarmDB database the active database, we can just use the keyword use sorry, there's an error there, farm db, and then so you don't deactive, or if you just double click, whichever style you want, if you use them. So now with this database don't they active, now the active database. So if we begin to write our query, select all columns from our table, farm details, okay. So from farm details, so make we run this one. Although no be waiting we won't be this, I just say make we run them so that we can follow easily. Make we continue our query. So select all columns from farm details, then join. You go use the keyword join. So we want join another table with this farm details, and which table be that? Now the estimated capacity table. Join estimated capacity so on which criteria we want join them. So if you look this estimated capacity table, you go see say, make I open them, you go see say the farm ID it is similar to our farm ID here. So join estimated capacity with farm details on the criteria that farm details, okay, double click on farm details dot farm ID is equal to estimated capacity click this for our time dot farm id. So make we run this one, see what it go give us. So you see the first few columns, it don't show say now the column from the table farm details, and then the next few columns now the columns from the table estimated capacity. So basically what in this query they mean be say select all the columns from farm details, then join all these columns with the columns from estimated capacity table, and then on which criteria, join them on the criteria that from the farm details table, the column farm id it go dey equal to the column farm id from the estimated capacity table. So now wetin dey mean be this. But before we continue, I want put here say we get different types of join. We get the inner join and the outer join. This join we use for here na inner join. So if we even put inner join, and if we run them, it will give us the same thing. You see so anytime we see join, by default na inner join. So let me just come out this join. So don't forget the records we want. We want the names, we want the name of the farm, and then we want make it dey side by side with the egg production and meat production. We go there, instead of selecting all columns, we'll just select name, and then make we select the egg production, egg underscore production, and finally meat production. So if we run this one, we could see what it will give us. So you see so now the name be this. So we don't join two tables together. This name now from farm details table, and then the egg production and meat production columns now from the estimated capacity table. So now so if we use inner joins. So make we add one more column. I want to show us something. I make we add the farm id column. If we run this query like this, it will give us error. If we run and it will give us error message. That is the farm id in field list is ambiguous, and the reason why we say farm id they present in farm details table and it they present in the estimated capacity table. So MySQL no know which one you want from both of the tables. Say she na the one waiting in the farm details table, or na the one waiting in the estimated capacity table. So if we want make it reflect the farm id, we must prefix it with the table name. We must prefix the column with they similar to both tables with the specific table name. So make we prefix let's say we want it from the farm details table. So farm underscore details dot farm id. So now if we run them now, we go return the farm id from the farm details table. So make we run them. So you see them. So we have the name, egg production, meat production, farm details, and farm details dot farm id. That is the farm id column in the farm details table. So it be like say this one day too long. Make I just cut them for here. Okay. So go fit see them very well. So now so if we join tables, now so if we use inner join. So if we select the columns we want from different tables and we fit join them. So now so if we join tables, in the real world we're gonna need join like several tables. If we join 5 tables, if we even join 10 tables self. So but now the basic method be this. Now the same method self you go use, and the basic method be this. So as this query they very long, it still get as if you reduce them. Make I just quickly touch on that before we go to the next. Okay, so I quickly touch on them. So make we just simplify the query as it did too long. We don't see say the farm details appear in 3 places, estimated capacity appear in 2 places. So if we just give them alias, so if we just call this one f farm details, if we give them alias as f, and estimated capacity if we give them alias as e, and so it means say wherever we say farm details, we could change them to f, and then wherever we see estimated capacity, we go change them to E. So now form details with this, change them to F. Estimated capacity, we will change them to E. The reason why we change them is say we don't already give them alias for here. So farm details now, it go be represented with F, and then estimated capacity go be represented with E. You feel represent them with any alias where you want, but now the ones where I choose to represent them with this. And so if you run them, now still the same answer I go give. So you see, so now the query don't be shorter and simpler. If I want to change this alias to maybe Y or maybe D, it means I go come change this estimated capacity column to D. And so if I run them, now still the same result it will give. You know, if you use alias for this table, maybe you can't type the name of the table for here again, but maybe we'll try and see what it will give us. So just they neater to be consistent. So instead of F, I don't write them in full farm details, and then if we run them, so you see them, it don't give us error. Unknown column is on clause. So because say we don't give this one alias, we not gonna use that alias for here. So once we use aliases, we guys make sure say we stay consistent all through. So now so we fit join columns from different tables in the same database. In the next tutorial, we go look at how we fit join across databases. That is how we fit join tables across databases.